What's going on, Internet? TBH here on behalf of Illuminaughty.com, and all of us have finally seen Black Panther, one of the most anticipated films of 2018. This is the big film leading up to the Infinity War. It's had a lot of hype behind it for various reasons, as well as a lot of controversy. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk the film. We're going to talk all that. Spoilers indeed. So if you're watching this on YouTube right now, just know I'm putting in the title, but just in case you can't read, spoilers are going to be in this video. Make sure that you have seen the film before you watch this video. What's the name? So we're just gonna go ahead and get into it, man. Black Panther. First of all, what was everybody's overall impression? Like, did you like it? Did you dislike it?
I mean, you gotta go. You gotta go down the line. Everybody that's talking, because
take the floor, Flop.
There's gonna be some people that don't know who's who. So
yeah, my bad. I'm gonna bring up your score.
People gonna say other.
Go ahead, Flop. How'd you feel about it overall?
Thought it was really good. I thought it was really, really good. It was just from the start of the movie. Like, I mean, I know a lot of movies, like when they first introduce a character, it starts off slow because it gives you a lot of backstory and whatnot. I like how the director, who's from Oakland, put in there, put his part in there, being in Oakland, and it came on. You heard the Too Short in the background, and yeah, I thought it was really, it was done tastefully well without going too long about it. I just thought, like, from the beginning, explaining, giving you some backstory, that's always key.
Right. I seen a lot of people complaining about the pace of the film, and like I thought about it. I personally didn't have a problem with it, just because I felt like in the beginning they were explaining what Wakanda is and what it means to the world, and I felt like if they didn't do that, then people would have complained, well, what is Wakanda, and like, what's this, that, and the third. So it's one of those things. I feel like it was a damned if you do, damned if you don't. They kind of had to start it off slow because not everybody knows he's not an A-tier character, I don't think.
Yeah, because that's exactly what I was gonna say. Like, if they would have went right into a bunch of fight scenes and stuff, it'd be like, oh, there was no build up. We don't know who the person is. But then when you start, showing and bringing that delivery to the front, then it's like, oh, well, it started off too slow. So it went, like you said, you can't win for losing. So it's like, why try? I thought it was done good.
Ace, how'd you feel about it?
I think the movie was dope. Already going in, once I found out that Ryan Coogler was going to be the one to direct it. He's had Fruitvale Station and he has Creed. So, and if you've seen those movies, those movies are dope. And when he was approached about doing this for Black Panther, I knew it was going to be something deep. And I feel like this movie was perfect. If you didn't have any idea about Black Panther or even the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you could still go into this movie and still enjoy it for everything it is. Like, that's for the hardcore fans and the casual, just, I'm just gonna go to a movie fans. I left the movie in goosebumps, man. It touched the nerve. It was good. It was a great movie. I'm really happy to see it. I actually might go see it again, to be real with you.
Yeah, that's because the film was very isolated. Like I said, like in my other video, it didn't really feel like it was part of it. It was, you knew it is, but it didn't really feel like it. What about you, Blitz? What was your overall impressions of the film?
Flawless. Simply flawless. Like, every time I go see like any kind of movie, I just sit there while the credits roll and it's like, all right, well, what did I just see? I'm just processing everything. And I was sitting there for like a good 3 to 5 minutes, just like, all right, is there anything that I can nitpick about this movie? Anything that like I could dislike, and I legitimately couldn't think of anything. Like, it met all my it exceeded my expectations by far. Like Ace was saying, like, this is a movie that could stand alone just as its own. Like, I wasn't even watching it as a Marvel movie anymore. Like, I was watching it just as a straight up movie, and I was engaged from start to finish. So
okay. What about you, Ethos?
Man, this movie was trash, bro.
Talk that truth. Now somebody's telling the truth. That's what the internet's been doing, right?
This
Thank you for your honest
overhyped
Ethos.
Black propaganda by the mainstream media and liberals trying to make us feel bad.
It's
what I would say if I had hatred in my heart. Because this shit is fucking beautiful. It is excellent. It is marvelous. It is magnificent. It is the best non-Marvel movie I have ever seen. And like, I'm about to go see that shit in a couple hours, so let's not waste a bunch of time because I'm about to go see this for a second time. So yeah.
But like, it was like this quick editorial, like it's so good. Even my mom wants to see it. Like every time I come back, she's like, "Oh, you in them superhero movies? Like, what do you see in those?" But even for this, she's like, "Yo, I actually might have to go see this." So we gonna see it tomorrow. Me, my mom, my sister.
Yep, I'm about to. I'm forcing my parents to come see it.
That's what we were just talking about before Blitz came in here. Like for some people, it's like it's just a social event. Like they don't know about the after credit scenes. They just heard that it's really that dope, and they want to go see it.
Right. So
it was definitely a cool movie because this was one of those like you could take your kids to see it, you could take your girl to see it, and they would all feel like. Cause I looked over and seen my wife. She like towards a certain part. I just seen her kind of like really into it. I was like, okay. And she don't watch none of that stuff, so it's just like it's a movie. It's a movie's movie. I mean, you can get emotionally invested into it.
Right. True. What about you, real dude?
Man, Black Panther, man. I say this is top 3 MCU movie so far. Okay. It's dope. Ryan Coogler, when he got on, like you said, Ace, I knew it was gonna be dope. It felt like a Ryan Coogler movie, and it felt like a Marvel movie at the same time. Matter of fact, let me say it's a film. I think it's a film, okay? I was very excited for this. The wait for this was long, and it paid off. It exceeded my expectations. I couldn't really think of anything wrong with it like that either. Probably like 2 things, but we'll get into that later.
Okay.
But I loved it.
All right, let's get into specifics. We're going to break it down scene by scene, talk about what we liked and disliked. Let's start off. So the movie starts off with the movie being in Oakland. The year is 1992. We got 2 people who look like they're possibly either drugs or armed dealers. They're like chilling in an apartment. And this was really dope. Correct me if I'm wrong, because this is the year 92. 92 is the year that what's the name got beat, right?
Rodney King.
Yeah, Rodney King. So that was the LA riots that was on the TV, right? Yeah. So that was dope right there. That was dope right there. I was like, all right, we already starting off with a little something. What's the name? And then what was it? King T'Chaka comes in while they're they get a knock on the door, and he sees the African women, and then King T'Chaka comes in, and he starts grilling what we find out is the uncle or the brother of King T'Chaka or whatever, and he's supposed to be like a spy or a war dog, what they're calling. How'd y'all feel about this opening scene right here?
Boy, he just appeared. he appeared
like the Undertaker.
This man just dead ass. He just came out of nowhere. Was like, yo, what up? And then everybody was like, bow down.
No, how it was, the 2 chicks was at the door. Dude said, Buddy said, he said, yo, these two Grace Jones looking at you. And then he like, what you want to do? He like, they ain't gonna knock again. So basically, like, you better open that door before they come in here. So, so that's pretty much how they did. By the time they started talking, next you know the Panther, and this is the original, dude's father, not the current Panther.
Yeah, you talking about T'Chaka?
Yeah.
Right. What's her name? Was it this scene or was it the next scene when they were in Oakland where old boy dies?
I think that was like more midway through.
Yeah, that was more than midway. Yeah, so then they ended up. Did he leave him dead in that opening scene? I don't remember that part.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, so they didn't reveal the whole thing, right?
They didn't reveal it. They didn't reveal it. They didn't reveal it at first. Yeah, they showed it later.
So then they just end up flying off at the. Okay, I was just making sure.
Yeah, I don't want to be wrong about that. After he killed him, they just said, speak nothing of this, and they just kind of took off.
Right. So then they took off. You see the boy look up in the sky. You didn't think much of it at that point in the film, which later we'll talk about. It did mean something more. Then it cuts to the jungle scene, which is we've seen a lot in the trailers. T'Challa's flying with his what's the name? His general and all that, and they go down there to stop this. What is it? It was like a sex trade, I guess it was going on. Like they were human trafficking. They were trafficking women. So then he drops down there, and then that's where you see the infamous line before he drops down to save the women. She's like, "Don't freeze," and he's like, "I never freeze." Then he gets down there. No, we gotta talk about that. Hold on, we gotta talk because I had a problem with that scene, right? So he gets down there, he starts beating all the traffickers' ass or whatever, and then we find Lupita's character. We find out that she was also a war dog that was spying. Nakia, yeah.
You gotta say it in your African voice, dog.
Nakia.
Oh, no, don't
be ignorant. Nakia.
She's mad at T'Challa for interrupting her mission, but then he reveals that he's gonna be king and he wants her there for the ceremony. And then this is the reason I said I had a problem with this scene. So after she ends up stopping him because he was about to kill a boy, she's like, he's just a boy, don't kill him, he was kidnapped. He froze. Then they get back on the plane and she was like, so did he freeze? And he was like, yeah. But he only froze because Lupita's character stopped him. He was about to massacre everybody. So I don't want. He never freezes. That's all.
He froze because he saw Nikita.
No, don't bend this. He froze because he saw her.
He was like, oh shit, there's the wife.
He froze.
He froze.
Oh man. He saw his dark chocolate snack. So what was he supposed to do?
Oh my god.
What's his name? How did y'all feel about the action in the scene?
Oh, it was dope.
It was great. It was great.
With like the tech and everything like that, it was dope. I mean, we saw the scene so much in the trailer, but even then, like I was still surprised. I still liked everything I saw.
I only watched like one trailer because I like to be surprised more. So I didn't know he was gonna throw him into the car. Like I was like, dang.
Threw that nigga straight to the car
door off, threw that shit at somebody. I was like,
it's always cool to see the context because when you see, like you said, we've seen that those shots in the trailers a bunch of times. I thought that was like in Wakanda. I thought that was like Claw's people getting ready to pull up to get more vibranium, but that was actually in Nigeria somewhere. So it's always cool to see context.
I found it interesting that they just left the women there in the middle of the jungle and they was like, good luck. Basically, there's always FUBU. Like, find your way.
Well, it plays a role into like the deeper message.
Yeah, well, Wakanda believes in like not helping, but even still, it's just like
you speak nothing.
They could have been like, yo, follow the North Star or something. Like, he just left the women there, bro. The women don't know where they at. And on top of that,
in a raid, you can't miss it.
Right, and then on top of that, the dude was a killer. He was just trying to kill those women, bro. They left her with that dude. I don't know, bro. Like, that's just a nitpick. I'm just messing with it. But after that scene from in the jungle, they go back to Wakanda. They land the ship.
Hold on.
Oh, go ahead.
You went over just the song when they first show Wakanda and they say we are home. Shit had a tear, bro. Home. That shit was beautiful. The music,
so Ethos was crying over minuscule shit. What's
you crazy, bro? That shit was beautiful.
To me, this scene, they just landed in Wakanda. They were cracking jokes on each other. They're prepping for the ceremony. And then what's the name? You find out they explain a little bit more about Wakanda and like the 5 tribes or whatever. I actually didn't even know that part, that there were 5 tribes. And then I knew that you could challenge for the throne. So then it cuts to that scene where anybody can challenge T'Challa for the throne if they want. Nobody does. And then the Mountain Hicks come out of nowhere last second. I mean, that's what they were. That's what they were. Like they were the rednecks of Wakanda, bro. Like the rednecks of Wakanda come out the cut and they was like, we challenge. And they put on the ceremony and he challenges what was old boy's name? The big monkey dude? M'Baku. I like the way that they did this. Go ahead. What does it mean?
Man monkey, I believe.
Yeah,
okay. Man-ape. That's why he was like,
or something.
So I think in the comics, Man is actually one of Black Panther's villains.
He is.
Yeah. They just changed it because they was like, calling a big black man a man-ape might not be the best thing. Let's just change his name.
We're sensitive nowadays. What's the name? So yeah, he challenges him for the throne. They get into a fight. I really like the way that they did this little throne fight because it reminded me of like PUBG. It was like a battle royale style. Like the women with the spears. They were the blue circle, and they kept moving in during the fight, and they were forcing them to fight. I was like, yo, this is a Fortnite match, bro. This is dope.
The storm is moving in, bro.
Right. No. Real dude, how'd you feel about this fight?
Oh, that fight was dope. He was getting whooped for a minute, though. But eventually got back up on his feet, man. I enjoyed it.
When she said, tell him, what is your name? And it was like, my name is, he just started listing that shit. I was like, oh shit.
People was clapping at that part.
Yeah, I was clapping that shit. I was like, I feel you, bro. Tell him your name.
Right. Then after they fight, T'Challa's getting his ass beat, but eventually he comes back, puts him in a UFC armbar.
Triangle choke.
He forces him to tap out, and T'Challa, he earns his right to be the king. Everybody's clapping. He could have killed him, but he showed him.
He could have killed him.
I think in that scene, he earned old boy's respect.
Of course. Yep.
So after that little fight scene, he becomes king. Everybody's excited. It's happy-go-lucky in Wakanda. And it cuts to the scene where we finally get to meet Michael B. Jordan's character for the first time, which is Killmonger as well as Claw.
Nigga.
Michael B is in an African art museum in London. And first of all, I'm paraphrasing. Does anybody remember the specific line he gives when the white woman pulls up on him and he asks him about the art? And
you talking about when he says the different tribes? He's like, what is this tribe? What is
no, because he was like, you stole it from my ancestors, some shit like that, and like
it was something like
he said, I'll take it off of you. Yeah, that's like, I'll take it off of you, and she was like, excuse me,
it wasn't for sale, and then he said, well, did you buy it?
Or did you just take it from my ancestors?
Right. So that man was looking at all different types of African art, but he was low-key bullshitting because he knew that there was some vibranium in the museum. He finds it, and then he proves the white woman to be wrong about it being just some regular African little tool. It was actually a vibranium tool. Then that's when the Claw pulls up out of nowhere with old girl that was working at the candy stand, low key. And he just starts shooting up the place. We got a nice little joke where he was like, "You run," and then he shoots him in the back of the head. Yeah, the Claw was hilarious, bro. I was kind of upset they killed him, bro. I was like, "Damn, too soon."
Well, he was kind of funny. He was funny too in Age of Ultron, until he got his arm like cut off. Yeah, you could tell like that he was hilarious. That SoundCloud link.
I didn't expect that.
That was funny.
That was funny.
Yeah.
What's the name? He had told her, man, you have been watching for me ever since I came in here, but you wouldn't watch your drink.
Right.
I was like, dog.
Damn.
Savage poisoned her. Right.
Water balls.
God, he came with the heat from the get go. And I was like, all right, this dude, I'm fucking with this.
Killmonger's all about his business.
What's the name? So then, of course, they end up stealing the vibranium tool. They're going to end up selling it to the highest bidder, which turns out to be the CIA later on. And of course, because this Wakandan tool, they were aware that it wasn't that museum, but they didn't really care about it because nobody really knew what it was. But then it gets on their radar that the vibranium tool was stolen. So then T'Challa takes him and his general and his sister and all that, and they make the trip for South Korea, where they find out where the tool is being dealt. And you have this big casino scene. That's where we first meet the CIA agent. Wigs were thrown. Don't
forget the Stan Lee cameo.
Stan Lee.
That was hilarious.
Stanley was balling out at the casino. Stanley was balling out at the casino. That shit was great because I thought it was just a great fight scene. Old girl just could not hold in the general, and she just started popping off and swinging on everybody. That's where you found out about the SoundCloud link and all that. What's the name? How'd y'all feel about this casino scene right here?
Remind me a lot of 007. Remind me a lot of Casino Royale.
When he walked in and the music was playing and stuff. That was pretty dope.
James Bond of Marvel.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, that's what they said, that they were trying to kind of go in that route sometimes, like, how, and it was great because he didn't have his suit on, nothing like that. At the beginning, he just did what he needed to do. It was dope. And to bring it back to the music real quick, I listened to the album before the movie, but I kind of wish that I didn't, because I feel like I would have gotten a little bit more appreciation of the music for the album itself, because the album is actually dope. Like, it really is.
Hold on. That's a side point.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But my question is, what was the CIA doing buying vibranium?
Well, they were trying.
It's America. What you talking about?
Well, I mean, obviously, America's always up to no good. But what
always trying to take some shit.
It's vibranium, and plus they've been trying to bring down Claw for a minute anyway.
Yeah, they were probably just trying to draw him out.
Yeah, that's what that was.
But go ahead.
I was just gonna say before that whole casino scene, could we also talk about real quick when T'Challa's sister was like showing him all the tech and stuff?
Oh yeah, shit.
That did happen before. Yeah.
She was like pretty much she stole the movie.
She stole everything.
I can't believe she brought back a dead meme when she was clowning him.
And it was fucking hilarious.
What are those? I feel
that was for the kids.
Wrote character for that, or like somebody just wrote that into the script last.
She totally lost her accent when she said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It was about the sneakers. The sneakers was funny too.
It was a dope dialogue. Like they had a true brother sister dialogue. Yeah. I loved it. It was great.
Right.
Mind if I mention something else about this casino scene real quick?
Go ahead.
Man, I was fortunate to be able to see this scene twice because right after they started to get in the SUV chase, my theater sound cut out. So for about a good 20 minutes, they rewinded it. We watched that part again. It was dope. But yeah, I just want to mention that. Watch out for y'all theaters because they messing up this movie. So yeah,
I don't know, man. That sounds like only a Flint thing.
This was in Bergman.
I have read reports that they've been mixing up showings for times, and people have been missing.
There was one they showed them that 50 Shades of Grey instead of Black Panther, and everybody
trying to fuck up the cells and shit.
They was mad as fuck, bro. They was like, "What the fuck is this?"
So after what's the name didn't want to drop the SoundCloud link, T'Challa follows him in the casino. He gets blasted by the vibranium thing in his arm. And then they get into a big car chase. This is another thing that was in the trailer, but we didn't really get to see the full scene. This is really dope because you get to really see the Wakanda technology. We got to see like the stealth car,
the new suit.
Yeah, the new suit absorbing the kinetic energy, blowing shit up. What you about to say?
Nah, you good.
What's the name?
Okoye get on top of a damn vehicle and killing a.
Can we talk about how they blew up her car? And then in slow motion, she pulls the spear out and saves herself. I'm like, bro, is something going? Is she a superhero too? Like, what the hell,
bro?
That shit had me crying when she was just all was left was the seat in the
car. Yeah, pulled up down the hill. That shit was pretty funny.
It's that Black Excellence armor.
Right. So eventually, in the car chase, T'Challa does catch Claw. And he's about to damn near kill him, and then they're like, "Chill out, the world is watching."
The world is watching,
right? So then they bring him in for interrogation, and this is where Claw kind of reveals to the CIA that Wakanda is not some third world country, but it's actually the richest country in the world. They call it El Dorado because it's got all the vibranium, a whole mountain of it. And CIA is like, "You're bullshitting." And I found this part actually kind of confusing when I think about it because it's like the CIA. He even said in the casino scene, he's like, "Yo, I'm not gonna tell anybody." You run around in a little cat suit. Like, he knew about that cat suit, they could do things, but like, you didn't believe that there's a possibility Wakanda could be like vibranium, like a vibranium rich country and stuff like that. Like, I didn't under.
Well, his old suit is different from his new suit.
Maybe he probably thought it was just a bulletproof suit. So
yeah, because the Civil War suit is just bulletproof. It doesn't absorb energy. The new one does. That's why he was like, oh well, it could just be some advanced Kevlar or some shit.
Okay, yeah. So maybe.
Can we go on record by saying that his sister Shuri is probably on the level with Tony Stark?
She's better than Stark.
She's better than Stark. She's better than Stark.
I want to see them talk. I cannot wait. I cannot.
She's be clowning his whole setup.
She's gonna clown all his suits.
Right. She's gonna make a better suit than him.
53 suits. That's all you did.
That's all.
What's the name? So then we find out what's the name? They're interrogating the Claw, and he's like, yeah, like I said, they're telling him about El Dorado and one like that. He's like, don't believe me, go ask what's the name? Go ask T'Challa. He's asking, he's like, you got more vibranium? And like he like touched him, and the general was like, don't touch him. Like that shit was funny to me. Like that was ready to kill that man.
I was like, yo, you touch him again, I'm gonna impale him against his desk.
Right, because he's a king.
Yeah.
And of course, what's the name? The Claw's always up to something. Meanwhile, in the back, you got Michael B's character in the gang.
Can we say how funny it was that he was singing that song when he came through? He was saying, "Don't hurt me."
Claw
was wild.
He was a troll.
He was wild in the entire time, bro.
He was a troll. Meanwhile, you had in the back Michael B character setting up the C4. They blew the wall out, but Lupita's character sensed something. She saw that the cameras weren't responding. They weren't being alive, and she's like, something's going on. She looks at the computer, but by the time she realized that it was too late, they blew out the wall. First of all, who was it that picked up the Claw to bring him in them chair? Because I could have swore he had like 2 women with him. They picked up that big ass heavy chair and that man and put him in the truck.
It was a guy. There was a white guy, and then it was his body.
Oh, okay. I was about to say.
Both of them, they picked them up and. That shit was basically Rainbow Six Siege. They basically
kind of was.
Shit. That shit was basically a rainbow.
They throw Claw in the truck.
Yeah, they basically did a rainbow shit. Dog.
They start shooting up the place, and this is another scene that I was kind of about because they start shooting up the place, and the CIA agent takes a bullet for Lupita's character. So then they're like, "Oh man,
shit, we gotta."
Yeah, well, at first they didn't want to help him, and then like they was like, "We can't leave him." So they bring him back to Wakanda to heal him. And like this, I guess this scene kind of threw me off because the whole time, like all throughout the film, they were calling him like colonizer, and they didn't trust him. But they were quick to bring him back to Wakanda. Like
they weren't quick because I remember Okoye was like, "Yo, we can't." Like when they were on the ship, they were like, "Yo,
we can't bring him there."
Yeah, like yo, we gonna get slandered for this shit because we're not supposed to do. We're breaking rules basically. And then Lupita's character, Nakia, was like, "Well, he saved my life, so it's the right thing to do."
No, but here's the thing. Okay.
And I mean, they were used to it. They already brought Bucky back, and so they were like, "Well, we already fucking did it."
They mentioned that.
Lupita was like, "We just helping white boys everywhere, huh?"
I feel like Bucky's situation was different because he was legitimately brainwashed. He was not an evil person. But this is a CIA agent they brought, and they brought that up too, bro. You could never trust the CIA on anything, bro.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they weren't dismissing like it was a good idea. When your girl's like, "Yo, you gonna do this for me?" You like, "Oh, damn, all right, fine, whatever."
But the thing that I had the problem with is because if you notice, they put like one of those beads in his back. They could have left him there. It would have stabilized him where he could have been okay. Someone could have came back and helped him and saved him, and they would have been fine. They didn't really need to bring this man.
Nah, because that's their tech. They gonna leave that tech inside of them so someone could reverse engineer it. Nah, take that. Take him with him.
Yeah, that makes sense. If they would have left him, somebody could have pulled that vibranium out of him. Like,
you have 1,000 questions saying how did he?
All right, I'll give you that. All right.
Yeah, no, take him with you.
Yeah, kind of had to.
I really thought they were gonna kill him. Like after they were.
I didn't.
I thought for a second they were gonna like leave him in Africa or something.
Leave the colonizer.
He was just leave him in the middle of Africa.
It's a superhero movie. He has to say.
He dies.
So what's the name? While they're like trying to help him while he's bleeding out, T'Challa chases Killmonger, and while he's getting away in the van, he sees that Killmonger has this necklace on, this Wakandan necklace on. From the royal family, and he's just sitting there. Well, we didn't know it was from the royal family at that moment, but he was like, you could tell there was something up. He's like, what the fuck was that? So they get back, and they heal him. He's asking Shuri all these questions. Meanwhile, T'Challa is like wherever the herbs, the Panther herbs are being grown. What was Forrest Whitaker's character's name? I forgot.
Zuri.
He questions Zuri about why Killmonger had that royal necklace. And
you talking about how that nigga raised his voice?
Well, I was gonna get to that. That was a great moment. I am your king.
That shit scared the shit out of me. I was like, oh shit.
I guess he's the king.
He's like, what do you say?
You ain't lying, bro.
That nigga raised his voice. I was like, oh shit. My
that
bad.
was a great moment in the film because it showed one thing that's different about
that
Black
was fucking
Panther.
E3.
I am not Captain America. I am your king.
Now look out, bitch.
So at first Zuri didn't want to tell the truth, but then eventually after he yelled at him, he broke down and he was like, all right. So then he tells the whole story that while they were in Oakland, Zuri was the second guy. Of course, he was spying on him. Well, we found out in the first scene.
You forgot something also that was important. We forgot something very important. His best friend, M'Baku? No, not M'Baku. What's his name? Is that it? Yeah.
Get out.
Yeah,
Get out.
His character.
Daniel something. I can't remember.
Yeah, I forgot his name.
He's a snitch.
Daniel Kuya?
No, I'm talking about.
Just call him Get Out.
Yeah. Get Out.
Damn, bro. I'm trying to remember his name.
The actor that played in Get Out.
Whatever. Yeah, you know the guy played. He was the best friend to T'Challa growing up. And before he went after Claw, he was like, yo, I'll come with you. He killed my parents. We'll kill him together. You'll let me kill, we'll kill him together. Years, yeah. He failed. He comes back without Claw. He's like, wow, I guess shit don't change like father, like son.
I felt some type of way about him too because he even admitted that his parents were killed 30 years ago. And don't get me wrong, if your parents are killed, you're always going to be sad about that. But it's like at some point,
the killer's still out there. Like,
but at some point, you do have to get over it. And for him to betray the whole country like he did throughout the film,
we'll get to that. But
I don't know.
Just feel like, if Tony Stark can get mad about Captain America killing the Bucky killing his parents over 30 years ago, I think he can get mad about.
Basically, he's a Trump voter, basically. Like he's just angry and he wants change from an outsider.
I get it. It's like, you put your trust in your best friend. You like, yo, I won't let you down. I swear on my name, bro. I got you. And then he comes back
And
to
then
like,
you come back with a
you
different
come back with a white guy that's not even Claw, and you gonna be like, I fucked up. Like, you gonna feel some type of way, like, bro, for real?
Enough to betray your whole country.
I'd be a
treason.
He didn't
Treason.
betray.
What he did was treason. That was treason.
We'll get to that. Yeah, we'll get to that because he had a good. I say, all right, I get what he did, why, but it's like I didn't agree with it, but I was like, I feel why he did.
I can understand where he's coming
from.
from.
I can understand his emotion about why. He was emotional. Okay, he felt some type of way. I feel that. Sometimes you do.
I thought it was supposed to be the light skins that was emotional, bro.
Well, dark skins are just as emotional.
Wait, they all brothers. No, they are brothers too. Remember, we can't shun them out. Okay.
No. Yeah. We ain't doing that. We all one tribe.
Right.
Tribe.
All that bullshit. So
we all emotional.
Yeah, he reveals what's the name. Shuri reveals the truth. What happened in that apartment? He reveals that what's the name? T'Chaka kills the dad, and then he also finds out that the boy he had a child with a woman that he fell in love with in Oakland. And they just left that child in the apartment, and that child happened to be the kid that was looking up on the basketball court. Now, this part confused me too because they said that he fell in love with a woman and had a child. Where was the mom at in all this?
Maybe she got taken by gun violence.
Yeah,
maybe that's what they insinuated.
Because he did insinuate.
It's one of those things. It's me nitpicking, but it's just like I just don't understand. Like they could explain what happened to her.
But I don't think they needed to, right? Like they were trying to show maybe of a polar opposite, like because I think they were trying to hone in on like the black father type of thing.
Right. Yeah, of course.
Because you've always seen like the whole single mother thing. They were like, let's focus on a different aspect of it, so we can focus on that whole message, which we'll talk about later.
Somebody in the chat said maybe she was a crackhead. I refuse to believe that.
I mean, it could be. She could have died.
I refuse to believe that Wakandan warrior chose to lay down.
I think what Ace said is probably right. Like she probably died during the riots.
She probably died during gun violence or something like that. I'm pretty sure
that would add to the anger.
I wonder if it's in the comics anywhere with like Killmonger's backstory. I don't know. It might be something that you may have had to have prior knowledge. I don't know.
Well, they changed his backstory because in the comic books they're not cousins.
He was he's from Wakanda. Like I don't think he betrays him.
They got exiled, but it was for a different reason. But was it this Oakland scene or the first one where the uncle had said that the reason he wanted to start the revolution was that they're living impoverished and they're over policed.
It was the second.
It was the second.
I think it was.
I felt that line too. I was like, yeah. Give me some vibranium guns.
Yeah. One thing I was curious about was, so at the beginning of the film, they're like planning some sort of like snag and grab or something like that, right? I was curious like what that was. Like I didn't know if they were going to rob a place or like it was part of like they were planning like to free somebody who was like captured by the police. Like that was something that I was like thinking about, but they never explained in the movie.
It was part of a bigger plan.
You talking about when they had the guns?
Yeah, because I couldn't figure out if it was like
so Oakland. I know Oakland is the birth of the Black Panthers, and I do remember in the early 90s, back when Tupac was popping, there was a resurgence with a new chapter in the Black Panthers, and he could have been a member of that.
That's what I was thinking, because there was like a lot of signs that reminded me.
Remember, Tupac used to talk about that shit all the time.
Yeah, I was thinking like, is he part of the Black Panther?
Tupac's mom was a Black Panther.
Right.
Yeah.
She was.
Yep.
Right. So it's like one of those little treats in there. It might fly over your head, but it makes you think like, what were they doing? Because at first it looked like they were just trying to rob, be thugs, but it could have been something more.
Right.
But anyways, back to what we were talking about. Yeah, they revealed that and then the kid ends up being Killmonger. They got left in that apartment. After that, it cuts to a scene with Killmonger in the airfield with the Claw and his girlfriend. Bruh. And they're just fucking all over the movie, like, and this ends up getting her killed. And
this nigga did not care. He did not freeze. He did not think a second.
But in his defense, I don't think she knew what she was getting into because she was just like, "Sorry, babe," and she was like, "All right, whatever." Yeah. So I think she knew what she was a ride or die.
My man felt nothing, bro.
The thing about her, she was originally supposed to play Nightshade, Tilda Johnson, but
for
then,
real?
Yeah, but then they cast her from Luke Cage, so they had to change her name to Linda.
Oh,
it was originally gonna be
damn, that'd have been lit. Oh shit,
interesting.
Damn. Oh, that'd have been dope.
So then, what's her name? Claw and Killmonger get into a shootout in the airfield, and he's like, "You really want to go to Wakanda?" And he kills him.
Bow, bow, bow.
What about Wakanda?
What's the name? So I'm confused because he didn't know where Wakanda was. Did he kill him before he got the info or after? Like,
I think
he knew. No, I think he knew where it was because of the book in the journal that his father had, and you'll see.
So why did he have to kill the Claw in order to go if he knew where it was?
Because he
needed to prove to get in.
Okay. Yeah.
And he already had the code on it underneath his lips, so like all he needed was like the thing, the peace offering to be like, yo, look,
right.
I got your.
He needed the right for passage.
Got your bitch.
Go ahead. Never mind. I was gonna say he knew that his father had betrayed the Wakandans and gave the info to Claw all those years ago. So he knew that if he killed the Claw, they would side with him because of what he did when he stole the vibranium.
And of course, who just happens to be on the borders of Wakanda, herding the sheep? Mr. Get Out himself, Mr. Treasonous. That's what
I believe Chris is like, he's the same character. Like, I refuse. Like, he went to Wakanda after. Was like,
he went to Wakanda to cleanse his soul.
Yeah, I believe that's canon. That's canon.
These white women are driving me crazy.
I'm going to Wakanda.
I was going to Wakanda.
I'm never going back to America.
So, like I said, he pulls up to the borders with the peace offering of killing Mr. Claw, which I find to be interesting because the Claw was always a reoccurring villain in the comic book. So it'd be interesting to see if they find a way to bring him back or if he's actually permanently dead.
I mean, he looked pretty dead in that body.
Yeah, he looked. But you know how comic books
weak how
are.
they killed him off like that, though. Because, I mean, he got his hand cut off by Ultron.
Somebody will find him laying in and bring him back and all that.
I kind of was sad that he was gone because he was funny.
He was funny as hell.
I mean, the fact that Killmonger was like front and center in a lot of the trailers is like the antagonist. I kind of figured, okay, Claw might be the second tier villain.
Yeah,
but in the comic books, I would say they're on the same footing. Like he's one of the main villains, always trying to.
Yeah,
that's why it kind of threw me off. I thought he would maybe they just throw him to the side for the next movie.
Right. Yeah. But they always got the Lazarus Pit. Oh wait, no, that's DC. Never mind.
It's DC. So yeah, he pulls the peace offering. They let him into Wakanda. That's when they have the big meeting between the 5 tribes and the king. And he tries to explain himself, and he's like, "Who are you?" And he gets into this whole dramatic scene. He's like, "Ask me my name, boy."
Can we stop this real quick?
Go ahead.
Nigga.
Hey, auntie.
But I will say that, if anything, like, that reminded me of Game of Thrones. Like, that was very like Game of Thrones-ish, how they were like passing around like, "Oh, you don't know who I am," and da-da-da-da, like this shit. Like, I really like the whole like politics of that entire scene. It was really
like the dude to the right. Like everybody else didn't want to ask him his name, and the dude to the right was fine. What is your name, boy? Whatever that African shit he said.
Dude with the plate in his mouth.
Ooh, them lip plate, boy. When I saw those, it made me feel like I did back in school learning about that. Ooh, that looked like it hurts.
So then it causes all this drama in the big kingdom, and what's the name? He asks for the right to challenge T'Challa to the throne. Everybody's like, "Fuck that! You're an outsider. We're not allowing you. You have too much hatred in your heart." And then some of them are like, "Nah." Then no. Then the king was like, T'Challa, he agreed to. He's like, "Nah, I accept your challenge." So they set it up. But this one was different compared to the first challenge because the first challenge, everybody was invited. This one, it was just the royalty there. This was some Fight Club shit right here, bro. Don't tell nobody, boy.
They say, "Hey, we're not going to show this embarrassment." No, that's like when the family finds out you got a long lost, sibling that he ain't. You got to hide him in the family. They we can't show him publicly. Let's just
because they hit it kind of like in an alleyway type of fight. Like it was only like certain people that invited. Do you think that the people of Wakanda would have backed Killmonger more if they'd known that T'Challa lost the way that he did?
I'm not gonna lie, T'Challa did some fuckboy shit on that shit.
It didn't seem like his mind was in the fight.
He was in it, but like I think he drastically underestimated Killmonger.
No, he felt guilty because of what his father did all along,
too, yeah.
and he was just like, I can't believe my father harbored this lie in for so long. Like that's the main reason why he allowed Killmonger to have the challenge, because he felt bad. He didn't admit. If you noticed during that scene when they were in the throne room,
his honor was hurt. No, his honor was hurt when that nigga straight up said, "Yo, I got y'all justice." When this nigga couldn't do his job. When you
it could be both. It could be the guilt, but then also imagine being prepped your entire life to be king, only for somebody to show up one day and be like,
this
bitch,
nigga show up and do your job. Like, you gonna be mad at this nigga. Like, who the fuck are you? Like, no, we fighting, bro. Like, it was a nigga moment. I hate to say it like that. It was a nigga moment, bro.
They get into a fight. At first, it's kind of even, and then eventually, Killmonger, starts to overwhelm T'Challa. And then you get an iconic moment from the actual comic books where he throws him off the waterfall.
Yeah, they was drawing comparisons for
that was some Dark Knight Rises.
I was like,
He said, "We'll break first your soul or your body."
Is this your king? Is this your king? I like that.
That's your king.
What's funny is everybody in the movie theater was dead ass silent, because it felt like he was saying that to the audience, because it was like he was dead ass like, "Yo, this is the nigga y'all was propping up. Like, this is your hero." And you like, oh damn, bro, T'Challa, what's going on?
That was a beatdown, because if you think about it, this man Killmonger really beat T'Challa right in front of his mama.
Yeah, in front of his sister and his mama, dog.
And his too.
Like this scene,
his girlfriend.
That scene, I feel like that scene where Michael B was at his best, as well as when he was in the museum. Like, you really felt like, yo, this is an evil ass.
That was intimidating as fuck. Like, I was like, bro,
it was in the later scenes where I felt like he was a little bit overacting, but
definitely. Yeah, I was gonna get on that later.
So after that, they throw him off the waterfall.
This your man.
The water. All the women react to him being thrown off the water.
Wait. You knew what was going. You know. They dipped out. They was like, "We gotta go.
We gotta go. We can't watch this.
We gotta go." He just embarrassed our entire bloodline. We gotta go.
Yeah, they had to get the hell up out of here.
So what's the name? He challenges for the throne. He wins the fight, and then that's when all hell breaks in Wakanda. He takes the throne, and he brings in all the tribes, and he lets them know that things are going to change in Wakanda. They're going to be more of a global brand. They're going to be trying to basically send all their vibranium weapons to the impoverished people that are being getting their necks stepped on, and they're going to wage war with all the governments, and
the white people. I hate to say him.
The colonizers, bro.
He said, we gonna get the Chinese. We gonna get the English. We gonna get the Americans. He said, we don't give a fuck. We gonna conquer everybody.
Yep. So he starts this whole little conquering thing. They're getting the supplies ready. After that, of course, because he's now the new Black Panther, that he has to go through the Panther ritual.
We forgot.
No. That's right.
Killmonger killed Zuri. We forgot.
That happens during.
No, that happens during the fight.
The ritual.
Yeah, but there was one important thing after that. After that fight, and then he's ready to carry out that mission stuff about how when he went to like that spiritual plane.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I got him out of order. I was about to go to that. My bad.
Yeah, we missed
and he burned all the whatchamacallits that
vibranium.
So did y'all care about Zuri's death?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds like your uncle.
I kind of saw it coming because it feels like every time Forrest Whitaker's in a movie, he gonna get killed. I'm happy he's there, but I'm like,
I know you're gonna die. It's like being the only black guy in the film. It's like, he's gonna die, but you still like him, So,
it is
an important role. I mean, he played an important role in the fact that Michael B. Jordan came in there and choked up Auntie. And
he picked her up with one hand and said, "Bitch."
Yeah, when he burned all the herbs. Yeah.
Oh man, she said, "What you talking about?"
Let's talk about the astral plane. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So he goes through the. Now he's the Black Panther Killmonger. He has to go to the astral plane. They feed him the herb, the Panther herb, and when he goes to the astral plane, it's a little bit different. When T'Challa goes to it, he gets to see the past lives of the Black Panthers. That's what all those Panthers were on the trees. Those are all the past kings, and that's actually one of his best abilities. He gets the knowledge of all the past kings. But with Killmonger, it was different. And the theory that I seen online was because his dad died in that apartment that night. that's where his spirit
that's
just
his
laid.
last
Yeah, and
memory.
that's where he just ended up. So he's ended up talking to his dad. They had this
Right.
emotional conversation about what did you find. In the
Also,
closet.
where he found that all the stuff he was writing in that ring that he had on with the necklace.
Right.
And then his pop said, "What I tell you about going through my things?" And then he asked him, "What did he find?" And then he started talking about Wakanda and all this other stuff. So,
But that scene also is what, and it also further fueled Killmonger's anger.
That's what enraged him.
Because the uncle should have been in the astral plane, at least with not as a Panther, but at least in that astral plane in the background. He never got a proper burial, basically, from dad.
Right.
The dad wanted to cover up his secret so much that he decided to live that.
He just let him die there.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was kind of his.
Because if he had been buried, he would have been. I think he would have been in the
astral plane.
planes. Yeah, in the astral plane.
He would have been there in some form.
Right, but it's beautiful. You saw how it was still purple and shit outside the window.
Yeah, I kind of wish we spent more time in that plane because that was visually great.
Yeah, that was dope. I thought Sterling,
Yeah.
he was a pretty good. I didn't know he was in this movie at all. So
I didn't either.
Yeah, they hit it pretty well. Him having his little.
They hit him very well.
Yeah, and then just like a little nitpick for me. I kind of wish you actually got to see hear some of the other Panther ancestors talk, and not just
him. Yeah,
not just T'Chaka.
Yeah, I'd like to see what the other one said too. Like if they agree.
Yeah, but it's only so much you can fit in the movie because that movie was pretty long. So it's like
shit. I'd take another hour.
So you got to cut some stuff out.
Cut 4 hours.
Ended up being
It's
3
4
hours.
hours.
It was like a 4-hour.
I want to
cut.
see that.
Where them deleted scenes? Where's that extended cut? We don't need that DLC.
I'm sure it's gonna be in some an extended director's cut or something.
Yeah. I'm ready for that DLC. Let's drop it.
It reminds me of Avatar. Reminds me of Avatar, like how he
It
went.
is. It's like
It is exactly like Avatar. That's exactly what it
Is
is.
Chadwick Boseman the Avatar?
Except for Black Panther's been around since the 60s, so it would be the other way around. But
True.
anyways,
Still the Avatar.
This guy. What's the name?
Respect on my man.
maybe we'll see that in the sequel where he talks to his ancestors for information and strength and whatnot. I think because he was a young king, he just wanted to talk to his father, who recently passed.
I just thought it would have been a nice touch
because he can't live. He admitted that he wasn't ready to live without his father.
Right.
Like, that's what he said.
That was crazy because, basically, you could say they're both mirror images of each other because both of them weren't ready to leave without their fathers, and they were both taken away from them.
Right.
That's why everybody feels for Killmonger.
Yeah,
as well as
Killmonger got it when he was
Black
younger.
Panther.
But that's also
it's
them
also
bringing the
funny.
father back in the astral plane is also, and the fact that he just wanted to talk to his dad so much also is what confused me about letting the CIA agents so easily into Wakanda. Because remember, the last time we saw T'Chaka, he got killed by the white man at the damn what was it, the meeting of all the nations. Right. They blew his ass up, and then now y'all are saving it. It just confused me that they were so welcoming.
Well, they did lock him up in the lab.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, I guess it's one of those things be the better man or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta be
He
better
said he had
than
a
them.
good heart, so yeah.
Yeah. It's hard for a good man to also be king.
So he wakes up, Killmonger
Yeah,
wakes up out of the astral plane. He's enraged.
Oh, I forgot. Oh, one more thing. There was that one part when he was talking to his father. I think his father realized that his son, he was on the wrong path because he cries right at the end where he was like, "Why are you not crying for me? Because I'm dead." And he was like,
everybody dies.
He's like, everybody dies, and right there, he realized he just doesn't care anymore.
Yeah, growing up in Oakland, I can only imagine.
He's just like, yeah, niggas die every day, B. That's basically what.
So this man wakes up out of the astral plane. He's breathing hard as fuck, and they're like, calm down. And then what's the name? He was like, once he wakes up, he's like, so what's all this stuff right here? And he's like, that's the Panther herb. That's what we grow for in preparation of the next king. And he's like, oh no, burn all that shit. Ain't gonna be no next king.
Next king, excuse you.
And in my opinion, this is one of the scenes where I felt like Michael B was actually kind of overacting. And he was like, when he burned the shit and he just started screaming, I don't know, it just felt a little bit cringy to me. Like he was trying a little bit too hard. Burn all that shit.
That shit was funny though.
That shit was funny to me. I think it was part of the character.
That's what an Oakland nigga would sound like. That shit.
I guess.
I just think I think the execution just came across bad. Yeah, because I said that too. When I was watching, I'm like, kind of overdoing this right here, but
I feel you.
I ain't about to nitpick, man, because I'm into it, so I don't care. At that moment, I didn't care, but I just kept a mental note, like, okay, I feel like, and there was a couple other scenes too. I felt like he was overacting that we probably gonna touch on too. So
what's her name?
I think he got a little too angry.
We also find out Lupita's character. She sneaks in through the little hole in the wall.
Nakia,
and she steals one of the panther herbs and takes it to the mountain because we find out that the rednecks. Yeah. They found the king's body. They found the king's body in the river. They are the rednecks of Wakanda, bro.
What was the name of their tribe again, man?
I got it.
Oh no,
the Jabari tribe.
Yeah, they traded
Jabari Parker tribe. Jabari Parker tribe, boy.
Jabari Parker tribe.
They fished T'Challa's body out the river. They got his ass on ice. The girls go to visit him. At first, their original plan was they wanted to give the panther herb to M'Baku, and he was like, "Nah, I'm not doing that." He's like, but let me show you something. They show the body. And that's where we find out he's not as evil as he thought. So maybe after that fight, he gained respect for T'Challa. And that's why they kept the body on ice.
He spread his life during that fight. So it's like...
Yeah, he was like, it's fair is fair. We'll cut it even.
Right. There was some funny scenes in this, like when a CIA agent was trying to talk and everybody started screaming.
Shut your bitch ass up.
I feel like
he made him turn away when he gave him the herb.
No, he told him, don't speak. You speak again, I'm gonna feed you to my children. And they all just stopped and looked.
He's like, no,
we're vegetarian. He like, we're just playing, man. We vegetarians, and everybody started laughing. I started laughing.
That shit was hilarious.
That was funny.
It was a funny joke, but that shit didn't make sense. Like how you live on a frozen mountain and you're a vegetarian? What vegetable you go?
I felt like he was half joking.
He was like half joking.
Maybe that's what it is. I was like, maybe I'm reading too much. I was like, what? It was still a great scene. So eventually they wake up T'Challa by giving him the heart herb, and they start doing their plans. The sister Shuri.
Well, he saw his father again, didn't he?
They had to bury him in the snow. They had to bury him in the snow. So
that cold ass snow.
I didn't understand how the snow was keeping him alive. I was confused by that.
He was in a coma.
You know what they say, like with ice and shit, kind of like the Captain America thing.
Yeah, you can free cryo.
They keep you in a suspended state, so to speak.
Like cryostasis.
I did not. Okay.
It's probably what it is. Or it could just been snow.
We're just gonna suspend disbelief. We're gonna go with that.
If he picked him up, then he was gonna die.
We ain't gonna overanalyze it. We just gonna keep it. We'll keep flowing.
He froze twice.
I never freeze.
They gave my man the Panther. He hits the astral plane where he talks to his dad, and he finds out his dad wasn't perfect.
You are wrong. You are wrong.
Get into a little shouting match. What's his name? Did y'all feel any type of way about the scene when he visited his dad again?
I thought it was just like, okay, finally you see. That's all. That's all.
It was honestly, it was like okay, so you know how like
now,
so for
it's like hold on 1 second. I felt like him speaking to his dad right then and there, that moment, he kind of understood Killmonger's plight. That's what I took out of that. It's like it didn't mean much to many, but that's what I took out of that particular scene. It was like, okay, now he understands why this man is doing what he's doing and why he's so adamant about, doing what he do.
I think I took from that scene is like he finally accepted that his dad wasn't perfect. He wasn't the man that he thought he was. It's kind of like your uncle that you know all your life seems like a great dude, and then like 20 years down the road you find out this man had another family with another woman. It's kind of like that. Like, yo, my uncle wasn't who I thought he was, bro. Like,
nigga was a Rolling Stone.
Basically.
I think I was also
like everybody's got their skeletons.
Wherever he hung his hat was his home.
Right. Wherever everybody's got skeletons. That's what I got out of that.
I mean, it was good because like he grew up out of his father's like shadow. He was just like, because he was like, I still need you, Dad. And then at that point, he was like, no, I can't go with you. Because he offered, he was like, yo, it's time to move on. And he was like, no.
They was ready to hang it up. I'm like,
yeah, like he was ready to just retire the mantle. Yeah, to the next one. And he was like, no, I'm not doing this. And I don't know. I can relate to it like kind of like a generational thing, because it's like, at least with black like black families, stuff like that, there's always been like a generational curse where like the previous generations, like our parents and our parents' parents, stuff like that, like they've gone through this sort of like where they made mistakes and stuff like that, and then it's like your turn, and it's like, you know, we can't have this, like, you know, this curse upon our family.
Yeah, old black men don't tell nothing. Old black men take shit to the grave.
Yeah, like like that, like as well as just like, you know, like when you have that one family, those two family members who like have beefed with each other ever since you were born, and they never tell you why they did that, and then you finally realize, and it's like, wow, it's like, that's why, and it's like, yo, you guys gotta let this shit go, bro. And so, I mean, that's how I related. I thought it was like really cool.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It is what it is. All right, so after that little astral plane scene, what's the name? T'Challa wakes up. Like I said, he sees his loved ones. The sister gives him the necklace, and they start planning it out. He asked for an army from M'Baku.
I bet you do need an army.
He wasn't really trying to hear that. And I felt like a lot of people slept on this, like why he said he wouldn't give him an army. He's like, you guys haven't visited my home for 30 years.
That was light skin versus dark skin shit.
Yeah, so we found out that like they're one of the 5 tribes, but they didn't have a seat at the table. They didn't have a say in what was going on.
They isolate. Yeah, they were.
Yeah, well, they isolated themselves.
They isolated themselves. It says
they were like, we don't fuck with the technology shit. It's gonna destroy our people. We're gonna go into the mountains. Fuck that tech shit. And then they were like, because of that, they never had their input in anything what Wakanda was doing.
But he wasn't that ignorant, because even T'Challa said to him, he's like, you know what the vibranium can do if it gets into the wrong hands. And he's like, I don't care.
But yeah, well, see, that's the reason why he didn't want to do that shit, because he's like, he feels like it's not good. Like, he thinks vibranium, which he had a point, vibranium would bring out the worst out of men instead of the best, which is what he believed. It was good.
Right.
Shout out to M'Baku.
Yeah. Shout out to that nigga, bro. He was actually low key lit.
What's the name? Let's see. So then, the mountain men wouldn't help. Gives the necklace.
White dude said he'd help. They laughed.
Okay,
Jane.
I think after this, it cuts to Killmonger sitting in like the war room, I guess you can call it, where the king's seat is, and he's basically declaring war on the world, giving everybody the plans to arm the stuff, and they start flying out the supplies and stuff like that. What's the name? And then I feel like this is the part of the film where like it did a 180. Like, it was kind of slow, and it was starting the climax, and then right here it does that 180, and it just turns all the way up to 100. And that's when. Go ahead.
Can we just give him in, bro? Every fucking time this nigga was in the room, that music that played, or the score when Killmonger's in the room, that beat.
The dynamic camera angles and shit,
bro. With how it twists,
how it twisted that 360.
Nigga, when it twisted and then his beat came on, that was the hardest shit I've seen all year, bro.
Remind me of the Dark Knight at the end of that too.
Yeah,
there's a lot of comparisons. Not a lot, but there's a few things you compare to some of those movies.
Yeah.
It's like the Christopher Nolan, like you said earlier. You throw some.
I feel like it's like I'd say this is like the Dark Knight variation for Marvel. Like, it reminded me a lot of like Chris Nolan shit, like his type of techniques and shit. So, hey, shout out to Black Panther, bro.
Except for it didn't take 3 times. You know, it only took 1 time to get the good movie. But anyway,
is that low-key slander?
I still stand by my statement. The one with the Joker is the only good one. But anyways,
I don't know about that, bro. Okay. Anyways, this isn't about DC.
They don't make good movies. What's the name? All right, so he's sending out ships of vibranium to arm the world. They warn the war dogs. They're like, yeah, we're ready. They said that there was some resistance, but most of them were ready to take on the man. And then out of nowhere, just T'Challa just destroys one of the ships, and he pulls up in the middle of the field, and he says, "Bitch, I didn't yield."
They're talking about his boy turn on him and taking Killmonger's side too.
Oh yeah, the treason and shit.
Damn, bro, you too, E2 Brutus.
Well, I mean, he was kind of riding his coattail the entire time. It wasn't one specific moment I felt like he betrayed Wakanda.
Yeah, it was like once he became, you know. Once he won that fight, he was riding with him.
No.
Actually, even before that,
he was. I would see the moment that T'Challa let him down. He had already switched.
Yeah, he was like, "Damn."
Once he seen that dude brought him.
Yeah, he was like,
body.
Brought him Claw's body, because when he thought that the agent that they brought in there was Claw, and he was like, "What happened?" He like, "Oh, he slipped through our fingers." After that, he was like, "Man. Just basically, you just like your pops, you didn't get nothing done."
Yeah, he was like same like father like son. You ain't doing nothing.
So I ain't mean to go back that far, but
no,
you're right.
No, you good.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, I don't feel like he betrayed Wakanda. Like I felt.
I forgot we didn't mention that he was actually riding with Killmonger at this point.
If that man did what he did to you, you beat his ass. I don't want to hear it.
I would, but look,
but he did. It wasn't treason, though. It wasn't treason. Whatever.
It wasn't treason, though. he still had Wakanda on his like the protection of Wakanda. It was just a different. He was just agreeing with Killmonger, which it was. You was like, I agree with Killmonger. King. There's a point into the movie, which we'll get to. There's a point in the movie where everyone was like, okay, hold on, bro. But like up until that point, everybody was like, you know what? This nigga's got a point. So how you gonna slander the nigga in the movie who also thinks the same thing?
It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, he was an outsider. You just don't welcome outsiders that way.
I don't know, man.
Yo, look how much drama. Look how much drama we get when we talk to outsiders, bro. Like, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
TBH.
I mean, he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
This is one of those cases where you gotta say he ain't lying.
He's not lying.
You try to help people.
Well, when we said GI versus everybody, is that not Wakanda power?
You try to help people, and a week later they true colors come out.
Let's go back to the review.
All right. I thought we was keeping $150 over here. Anyways, what's the name? So all hell breaks loose. This is one of my favorite scenes in the movie. So the big fight breaks out. Basically, it is Killmonger versus the world, except for he had Get Out Boy on his side.
And the whole clan.
Yeah, one of my favorite parts about this scene is once the fight starts breaking out, the women were badass that were fighting Killmonger, and also the vibranium rhinos. They showed the rhinos in the beginning of the movie, and I didn't think nothing of it. I thought they were just
doing like a pulled up, boy.
I thought they were doing like a humanitarian thing, because rhinos are like near extinction. I thought maybe they were just breeding them, trying to keep them alive. Them motherfuckers was war weapons, and they pulled up with the vibranium rhinos. I was like, yo, this is a different type of movie.
Buddy hopped on top of that rock like. I'm like, is this Release the Kraken or something?
Don't do it.
And I look up, you see them rhinos coming out. Boy, that shit was dope. Like how the fighting in that was pretty good. And that was a pretty dope scene. And how they all like the women was like, look, man, we ain't messing with you no more, bro. We riding on this side. So it was basically like 5 against 75.
They was all like, you ain't a king.
And then when that one rhino, and then Buddy hopped your boy, little weak ass that turned on him. Get out. He hopped on the one rhino and tried to charge at Buddy, and then next old girl, his wife. No, he tried to charge it, and M'Baku was about to take him out. And old girl, Michonne, I keep forgetting that name. Okoye. She stepped right in front of the damn thing, and it stopped.
Do that shit.
It stopped right in his tracks. Like, no, I ain't hitting her, and then licked her right on the face. Like,
that was his wife.
But keep it $150 though. Like, those women that was fighting the
that shit was hot. He was right, TBH.
Yeah, that shit was hot. I wasn't gonna say that. But I was gonna say that. I was gonna say.
Can I get more of this shit, please?
To keep it $150, the only reason Killmonger even survived that fight is because he had that suit. Because they was beating his ass.
They was whooping
him and Shuri. Like, it was just the suit that saved him.
When the door
Nakia and Shuri was putting the foo-flops on him.
Well, wait, when the Dora Milaje was like, yo, no, we helping. You saw how they formed? They did Beyonce formation, and they did the whole staircase shit out. What the hell? That was Beyonce fucking corpse, bro. I was like, what the hell?
I didn't think he was gonna cut it throat though.
That whole joint was nice.
Yeah, that whole scene was lit. And then I Get Out, dude, I had to know it was a rat when he was about to fight Okoye. He's like, would you really kill me, my love? And she was like, absolutely. I don't care.
For Wakanda, without question.
That's because she's loyal, unlike him.
Yeah, he just got down to one knee. Once he got down to one knee, everybody stopped. But low key, them boys, M'Baku and his boys, the reason why
they won.
Didn't go south.
Yeah, you're right. But
that came into play when I spoke on earlier when they had that fight, and he told me like, "Yo, you fought with dignity. Give up. I don't really want to kill you." And that's why he respected him and asked, because remember he said he wasn't gonna help him, but we all knew that eventually he was gonna help him.
Yeah.
because of that.
Eventually
Let's talk
comes down
about how
to
he M'Baku just straight up picked up Get Out boy,
and threw him
by the neck.
Man,
Just-
What was this dude's name in the movie? We keep calling him.
I don't
even remember,
Maccabi. Is W?
Maccabi, yeah, Maccabi, yeah.
Maccabi. Okay.
Maccabi, yeah.
Nah, but
tossed him off screen like it was nothing.
Can we mention something real quick? Because TBH keeps saying that the actress that plays Michonne in The Walking Dead was loyal, but Koye. The problem with her is she was so loyal to the throne that initially she was still said I'm not leaving, because when Nakia
rocking with Killmonger for a little bit.
she was rocking with Killmonger because she was that loyal to the throne, not necessarily.
She didn't.
T'Challa.
She still.
she wasn't really riding with Killmonger.
She wasn't. No, she was. She was conflicted the entire time, and then she betrayed him.
She was against it. Remember, she was gonna like interfere when it looked like T'Challa was about to die, because you saw how she was like shaking, like she was about to go and attack him, because she was like, oh yo, he's about to die. And he had
why didn't she leave when
she said she's loyal to the throne? She says she's not loyal to like Killmonger. She's not loyal to the. She says she's loyal to the throne. So whoever on that throne.
That was my point. That's my point. She wasn't loyal to.
She's loyal
T'Challa.
to.
She was loyal to the throne itself instead of being loyal to
Wakanda, bro, forever. When she say Wakanda forever, she means Wakanda.
I mean, the rules were if you defeat the Black Panther, you're the Black Panther.
Yeah.
She was simply following the rules.
She was loyal. She was doing her job. Yo.
She was loyal.
She was loyal to a fault.
She never switched up.
Right.
Nope. She never switched up
until she realized that he wasn't fit. I was like, yo, you got to get overthrown.
Too much hatred.
She never switched up.
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of hatred in that heart, B.
All I'm saying, anytime I ever got a squabble with somebody, we doing it just like how they did it in Wakanda. Facts.
Just accept it. Get out, boys. Benedict Arnold. Just accept it.
He's gonna be fighting people over.
What's her name?
If it takes it, that's what it takes.
I'm just saying, that's real.
If it takes that,
G.I. gonna show up with spears.
And this in this same scene, we get a look at the CIA agent's amazing Air Force skills, as well as Shuri pulls out the cut with her little energy blasters, damn near defeats Killmonger by herself, but then Killmonger jumps on her and almost kills her, and then T'Challa sees that shit and jumps across the damn earth and is like, oh, don't touch my sister.
Don't touch my fucking sister.
Man, he jumped on
He is the light of the movie.
Out from the field to get him, boy.
You are not
they went to that free-fall fight.
Oh yeah, he said this ain't happening again. That's why Pops, he got there a second too late.
You got me fucked up. Nope.
No, but that free fall fight, that reminded me of Spider-Man too. I started sitting up, dog. I was like, that was cold.
It was dead silent too. That was really dope when they were.
Yeah. Nobody was yelling or shit. It was dead because like it was so silent. Like all you could hear was the punching sounds, punches. Like they cut the music and they just make it where it's like you just feel the strength of every hit, which was very well edited.
Yep.
So yeah, they get down into the train station. They start fighting. T'Challa soon realizes that they're equally matched. As long as they got those suits on, nobody's gonna get hurt. So then he remembers he's in the train station and his sister developed a technology that actually deactivates vibranium for short periods of time. He tells his sister to activate the trains and they start fighting while the trains... I really thought it was dope that they were fighting, and then when the train would come, they would talk and like kind of share different type of ideas, like where things went wrong. How'd y'all actually feel about the final fight on the train station?
I liked it, but the problem with it for me was like when I thought about what the hell? Y'all ain't
is the Joker in somebody's house? What the hell?
You got Claw in the house?
What's going on?
It didn't look. It looked like more CGI because I went back and watched the clip. It looked like it was more CGI than what it should have been. It looked less practical than I think so. Because people
was a little cartoony.
Yeah, because they was complaining about the CGI. The CGI wasn't bad, just the animation. It looked a little too extra.
Yeah, I saw that, and I'll admit I didn't care. I
didn't care until I left. I started looking at it again. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, like I noticed it, and I feel like when the fight was slowed down, that's when you could start to see. But as long as it like kept moving fast, like it was fine. And I could tell like they definitely did some like changes. What the hell was that? They definitely did some changes from like what they showed online to the final pass. It was like, oh, they added different cuts and they changed some stuff around, and I could tell they definitely did some polish to it. But yeah, there's like I think it's because like the suit requires a lot of CGI because you got to CGI the helmet when he puts it on and takes it off, and then they have to CGI the whole purple thing, the kinetic energy aspect of it. So it's a lot of shit, especially when they move in and like all this, like with all this action and shit. So, but I agree with Blitz. Like it didn't bother me. Like it wasn't until like I had to like literally focus on it in order for me to like notice it. But it's like if I'm watching the whole thing, like you know all the fighting going on and shit, like it wasn't like where bro, this shit is hurting my eyes. It was just like, oh,
I noticed it, but it didn't bother me. Like it wasn't.
It wasn't a deal breaker by no stretch.
Yeah, right. It wasn't like oh man, this shit looks.
But it's still a little weird.
It wasn't Mortal Kombat from the '90s, bad, you know.
Yeah, it was like almost.
I mean, let's not. Hell, you can go closer to that. Green Lantern bad.
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh, you can say it's like a quick time event, like Spider-Man 3. Like how you jumped off the thing. If he just jumped off the thing, like that was lit.
Press X, punch.
I don't mind those. So
what confused me about this fight? Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So what confused me about the fight is the way that it ended. He threw the knife into the air, and then eventually he's stuck in the back of Killmonger's. So was it did he give up fighting and he realized he lost, or was the suit keeping him alive and he knew once the knife came out of his back it was going to sever his spine or something like that? Like what? I didn't really fully understand that.
It got him in the heart.
He was dying out the entire time once he got stabbed.
Yeah.
He was bleeding out.
Also, it went from the back to all the way to the chest. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he stabbed him to the chest.
Okay.
It was
he timed it. It was one of them perfect timing thing because he knew at that time when it happened that the suit was kind of like deactivated
because of that thing. So it stabbed him because of the.
So that's when it happened. That's when it happened because you probably wouldn't even be able to penetrate the suit.
Right.
You know what I mean? With that knife, I'm certain you wouldn't have been able to. So when it happened, just when you heard him like, it's a nice move. You know, like, no, that's a nice move. And you know, they went up top, and then that's when the most powerful scene in the.
Oh wait, but there is one part I forgot. In between that fight when they're talking to each other, I think like that is the part where like the audience goes from like, I agree with Killmonger, he has a good point, to whoa, hold on, bro, because like he goes. And I think this maybe what Flag was about the overacting, but like it was just to the point where it was like he kind of like crossed the line where he was just like, you know what? I'm gonna kill everybody. I'm gonna kill the oppressors. I'm gonna kill their children. I'm gonna kill their children.
Yeah,
he just goes down the list. Mm-hmm. And then that's when everybody was like, oh. Okay,
I think people would agree with. Crazy. I think they would have agreed with him more if he would have took the approach of Wakanda can do more to help the world, and here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna low key arm people, but we're gonna use it in defense. He wanted to wage war against the world.
But that was because of his anger. He couldn't get past his anger.
But at the same time, it's like, I can't really blame him.
Yeah, like, I can't blame you why you feel this way, but I can't co-sign that, bro. I was like, I feel you to a point, and then I was like, okay, that's getting a little too radical, bro.
Well, he was just it's a case of being a product of your environment.
You're a product of your environment. Yeah, and it was like, that's why I feel like he wants to play and feel like, he was basically like, I want everyone to feel what I feel.
And that's why he can't be a good king, because the only thing he knows is violence.
Yeah, and all he knew was he didn't know how to solve.
He had to die. There was no way they could have kept him alive. Nothing like that because
I kind of wanted him to live. I'm not even gonna lie. Like
I wanted him to live. Absolutely,
I wanted him to live.
But I understand why. He was always gonna have that hatred in his heart, no matter what.
I feel like he could have changed. I feel like he could have changed. I think he could have changed.
Because what they did to him, what King T'Chaka did to him and left him there in Oakland, basically to fend on his own. Like he had that burning fuel, just having hatred towards the entire Wakanda since for 30 years, fam. That shit is not gonna go away.
I know what Flock said. And I agree with what Flock said. Like the point where T'Challa like realizes. Like, I think they were both at a point where T'Challa was willing to forgive him for all that shit that he did and been like, yo, like, I feel like I can save you. And I feel like, and I really do, I feel like in that final fight scene, he wouldn't have killed him if he hadn't said that line. I feel like there was a moment where he was like, we can fix this together.
He's like, yo, I get it.
Yeah, and then Killmonger, because he had so much shit, was like, nah, bro, not gonna happen.
You want me to quote it? Because I got it.
We gotta quote that.
Who gonna drop the
I'm gonna drop it. I got you.
Hold on. Somebody, come on. Y'all know this dude voice gonna crack like. Come on, let's get some. Maybe get somebody.
I got it.
Hold on. I'll lay out the context. So he stabs him in the chest, and he says, I've always heard that Wakanda is beautiful, has the most beautiful sun. Was it sunrise?
Sunset or whatever.
Sunset or sunrise. So he takes him outside where the Black Panther, the statue is, and he lays him down right there, and he can see it in front of him. And this is like in his dying moment.
And don't forget, he also talked about how his pops was always telling him about Wakanda. He said, imagine being a kid, how being a kid, you listening to a fairy tale, basically.
Right.
Yeah, you think it's a fairy tale and it doesn't even exist, and now he's life, and then T'Challa's like, we can, I can save you. You can,
we can heal
be
you.
here. Yeah, we can heal you. You'll be fine. You can live here with us. And then he said to him,
bury me in the ocean with my ancestors who jumped ship because even they knew that death was better than bondage. Niggas.
that shit was incredible.
That was powerful.
I mean, was it?
Yeah,
I mean, it definitely was. But was it guaranteed that he was going to get locked after that, though?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
They would have Suicide Squatted his ass. He would have been locked up in a fucking prison for the rest of
He
his.
said Suicide Squad. They would have used it for co-op missions.
They would have never let that nigga.
Black Ops
Bro,
missions. I mean,
you gotta remember, this ain't Naruto. He ain't like Sasuke where they gonna forgive him of all his war crimes. Like, no, they gonna lock his ass up. He's not getting out. It's
I
not.
just wanted to see him live. It's like
I wanted him to
because after all that, it's like, yo, I get it. Like, are you going about it the right way? Probably
No.
not.
Yeah.
But I can't be mad at you.
Yeah, like you could have maybe atoned for your sins by helping with program. Or
it's one of
something.
those things. Is like you may be right about something, but at the end of the day, wrong is wrong, and you got to be dealt
Wrong.
with.
Yeah, you gotta
You're saying they don't know how
consequences.
to get one. They
I
just-
will say this though, as far as like being a villain, you didn't after that you didn't hate him. Like
No,
he was
No,
like,
you didn't hate him at
he was
all.
definitely one of those villains, like say like a Magneto, where you understood where he was coming from, and
Like
you could,
Vulture.
and even in this instance, you actually sympathized.
Sides with him.
with-
I wouldn't say he's a villain. I would say he was an antagonist.
It was.
I say
It's a
he's
case
an
of.
anti-hero.
Yeah,
It's-
or an
it-
anti-hero. Like I
it's
really
a case
don't.
of.
I wouldn't
No,
call him. I wouldn't
no,
call-
I couldn't
He's definitely
call
not
him
an
anti-hero.
He's definitely not an
No,
anti-hero.
I'd say he's an antagonist. Like I don't. Think
No,
he
they
was-
were the
villain.
little definition of optimism versus pessimism.
Yeah, like I really don't think he was really just. Yeah, he did a lot of
Pessimistic
things
doesn't
wrong.
make you a bad person.
Yeah, like he was.
Some
just
people were saying that Killmonger was Malcolm X and that T'Challa was Martin Luther King. That's what some people were saying. I don't know if I can say all
I mean,
that.
I guess
I said that. Like that's a. I said that in the video, but even still, like there's more layers to it. Like
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
that's for like
It's a
surface
generic.
level.
It's
a
for
generic.
white people. It's
yeah.
for white people to understand. You gotta tell them that. But it's definitely deeper than that because I would argue T'Challa's not even MLK until the very end of the film. Like
Right.
he is a very he believes in like isolation and leaving and we can't trust
He's
everyone.
more like I would say he's more like Marcus Garvey or somebody like that.
Yeah. And then it's not until later, he realizes and that's what makes Killmonger powerful is he brings about a change in T'Challa and makes him realize that even T'Challa was wrong, and he had T'Challa question his own philosophy and his own belief, which is what made him such a damn good villain.
Right.
And which made
That's what Joker does.
At the end too.
Yep.
It is what it is. So then the last scene of the movie is it cuts to going back to Oakland, where Killmonger grew up in that little project building. If we find out, we see the kids playing again there. Kids are always just playing basketball right there for some reason.
Hey, they upgraded the hoop though.
Yeah, they upgraded the hoop, and T'Challa reveals that he bought the project building and he's turning it into an art center for Wakanda. It's a part of him becoming more global, the country becoming more global, and also giving back to the community to maybe prevent another warmonger. And I think he said he gave it to Shuri, right, to head up.
Yeah.
Sure was part of the outreach.
It's like the block.
No. He gave it to
No,
the
not
kid. He gave it to the
Yeah,
kid.
okay, my bad. Yeah, because he said,
Shuri
I think I
does
have
the
a way
tech.
for you. He said, I think you have a way for you how you can save the world and still like do the Wakanda thing.
And do your thing.
And he
Right.
bought basically every other building on the block in Oakland. So I guess he's buying back the block like Rick Ross
Yeah,
says.
Bruce Wayne did.
Yeah.
We talk about how the kids saw the spaceship and they was like, oh, that's a space.
Yeah, I wonder if they get to still.
That threw me off because I'm like, I don't think the kids should be seeing that, bro. Like,
It's a little. Well, see, I thought of it as well as like, I'm not gonna lie. After the whole attack on New York with aliens, I would look at that and be like,
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Called it a
"Oh,
space
the aliens are attacking us."
the space Bugatti. They's like, yo, we can
Yeah.
sell the tires or whatever they said on the
tires break this down, and I was like, oh.
I hate niggas, bro.
I was like, only can't let niggas have shit, bro.
So shout out to the space Bugatti. How did y'all like the ending to this?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I liked it, but I think the first post-credit scene could have been the ending instead. In my opinion, I think that could have been
That should've been
a
fun.
better one.
Yeah.
Actually,
Okay.
one thing I wanted to bring up real quick, like towards the end of it, was like when T'Challa was thanking Kia for all what she was doing and stuff, and they got into it a little bit. I was watching that, I was like, yeah, that's cute, but I'm just saying, now that Fox is under Disney, there's a little person named Oro Monroe sitting in the cut, so don't get too comfy with that.
Right. What's her name?
And actually, yeah, just to go off of that a little bit, because my friend was explaining this to me, I didn't know, because apparently when Black Panther marries Storm, I guess like Nakia's character gets jealous and actually becomes a villain.
Yeah, I actually saw that in the video today. I was like, yo, that's crazy.
I'm wondering.
Dead ass. I want Shuri to become Black Panther next. Like, if she's like for the third movie or some shit, and she becomes, because there is a moment I believe she does become Black Panther.
A sassy Black Panther. But
I would love her to see her in a Black Panther. Like, oh my god, that would be incredible. That's all I want from a. Give this man Ryan Coogler a trilogy. We demand a trilogy now.
They already asked him to come back.
Yeah, they asked him for
I want a three. I want
part
six,
two.
I want
Part
3
two,
seasons. I want a Netflix show, and I want another like a spin-off movie.
Hey, that Netflix idea that you put on Twitter, fam. That would be
that shit would
dope.
make money.
That would be dope. Oh yeah, absolutely.
That shit would make money.
No, we need a Black Panther versus Atlantis film, a Wakanda versus Atlantis film, because there was a comic book where they went to war with the Atlantis, Namor, and all that shit. That shit.
Oh
was
yeah, I'm
fire
about
in
to
the
say
films.
Namor.
That would be
yeah.
fire. I think they brought his name up at one point in the film.
Namor?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
He said
that.
the CIA agent. I
swear
swore the CIA agent said something about Namor in the film. Maybe I'm bugging. I don't know.
You might
did.
Let me look
he
that up.
He might have said that.
You said
I
what?
don't know when though.
He might have said something like that. Because there was one part when they was standing in that when he was interrogating, right before he started interrogating what's his name, Claw. He said something, I couldn't pick up on what he said.
I'm gonna take another look at it.
Yeah, I'm about to see the movie again. So
yeah. We'll see. So yeah, after that's the end of the film. Everybody's clapping. Everybody's crying. We get to the post-credit scenes. Half the theater leaves as usual. First post-credit scene. Wakanda announces that it's going to be a part of the world more. They're going to work together, provide more aid. And then, of course, that's when you had your little smug white man say, well, what can a third world country full of farmers do for you?
And it just smiles.
T'Challa just smiles. I just kind of reminded me of the scene from Iron Man. Was it Iron Man?
That's why I was thinking Iron Man 1.
The first one?
When he was like, I'm Iron Man.
Iron Man. Yeah.
I feel like it's just going to bring him more problems.
It's going to bring him more
I feel like they could secretly provide aid, but I don't know if they want to tell the world they got a mountain of vibranium.
Isn't that Iron Man 2 that he revealed himself?
No, Iron Man 1.
One, he was just like, I'm Iron Man. That's how it ends.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That scene was kind of whatever to me. The big one was the second post-credit scene.
This nigga,
we get a look at Bucky. The kid is making fun of him, and then we hear him call him White Wolf. And I didn't think nothing of it. And then I went home.
That shit was fire.
I went home and I watched I watched all the theory videos like I normally do after the Marvels. I didn't know this about the comic book. So in the comic books, the reason this is a big deal is the White Wolf in Wakanda is an adopted son of Wakanda. He's the head of the secret agent, like I don't want to say FBI, but Secret Services of Wakanda.
Yep.
So remember, Shuri healed him of the mind control from the Russians. So he's no longer the Winter Soldier. So then they trust him, and they're saying the theory is after the Infinity War, Bucky's going to adopt Wakanda as his hometown, and they're going to give him the keys to the secret service of Wakanda. Yeah, he's going to be the
Y'all saw how he had the shea butter in his hair, boy?
Oh my!
Y'all saw how slick his hair was out? I'm not gonna lie, bro. They
taught him about the proper oils. Talking
about the oil. Got his hair on.
Yeah, all that head and shoulder shit. Nah, fuck that.
It was like, hey, yo, gave him some robes and shit.
If they had braided his hair, I would have died. Like,
If they had braided,
they said they're gonna do that to Peter in Infinity War, man.
Bro. I was like, yo.
So overall, let's go ahead and knock it out. Out of 10, I'm gonna go down the line. Let's wrap this one up because I know Ethos got places to go, and we're going on 2 hours. Ace, Ace. Out of 10, what do you give Black Panther?
I give it an 11 out of 10. To be honest with you.
All right. Possible?
Ace has lost his mind. All right.
No. You know what? The reason why in all seriousness, I'm giving this an 11 out of 10, not because I felt like it was a good mixture between Marvel and a Marvel movie and just a film overall. But I'll also give it the fact that, there's some, and as a man of color, there are some films that like your parents would show you to like really let you know about your roots and everything like that. And there were so many deeper meanings within this movie. I feel like this movie has become one of those modernized movies that we can show our kids later on down the road, regardless if they know anything about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Right. But the fact about being a man or a woman of color, I feel like this movie was extended everything. There were so many deeper meanings of the fact about and truly understanding why African Americans and Africans hate being called African Americans, because of the fact that how African Americans act sometimes about not knowing about their heritage and everything along those lines. So I actually felt like this movie was much deeper than that. Hence why I gave it the 11 out of 10. And that's just how I feel.
Sure.
Yeah.
What about you, Blitz?
Yeah, so actually one thing before I give my score. So I was kind of expecting to see if they were going to like reveal if there was Infinity Stone Wakanda, but I guess not, since it wasn't. I don't think it was brought up at all.
A lot of people were.
Yeah, I was expecting too.
What's the name? I saw an interview with the director, and he said they decided not to put the final Infinity Stone in Wakanda because he said that he felt like Wakanda itself was special enough with the vibranium, and then also. Right. Once the world found out that they had a mountain of vibranium, the world was going to attack them nonstop. If they had the Infinity Stone too, now you're gonna have all the space attacking them, and it's like when he explained it, it kind of made sense. It put too much
about to destroy it anyways.
That's what I'm saying, because they gonna need all the help.
Can't have shit. Be damned if white people ain't gonna destroy the fucking alien from outer space.
It's somewhere. It's maybe we'll find it in the Ant-Man and the Wasp. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But anyway, my thoughts are like in line similar to Ace's. Like I was like by itself as a movie, I give it a 9 out of 10. But the cultural impact like this movie had like just on the black community is just like puts it over the top of me, and I have to give it a 10 because like I was telling everybody like I don't know about y'all pre-show experiences, but when I got to the theater an hour early and I had to park in the back because it was so packed. And like the line to get into the actual theater was out the door. Like I had never seen nothing like that. So like, and then the fact that like, why I think, because I had explained this to some coworkers about like the Black Panther hype is like, this is like the reason why it's getting so much hype in our community is because like, it's an opportunity for us to show people is like, you know, our movie, like our forms of entertainment and art further than just like doing fucking like slave movies and civil rights movies and shit's like it's a unique black story that's not like like there's racial undertones that's like sprinkled in here now again, but it's not like they're not beating you over the head with it. And it's like I said, it's a unique story that's told by us with our people in it, and that's what's really getting people hyped about it. And that's why I have to give it 10 out of 10 because it hit all the points what I was looking for, and then some. This is a definite, like I'm seeing it tomorrow. Like I got a couple days, I got a day off next week at work at some point. I already decided I'm gonna go see it again that time too. So it's just like y'all need to just support the shit out of this movie because this one is special. No bullshit.
There you go. Ethos, what about you?
All right, so as a Marvel film, it's probably like an 8.8 out of 10. But like as a film, it's like I agree. There's like a separation, but as like a film within itself, it and like everything it tries to do as a film, it is like a 9.5 out of 10. But like just like what Blitz is saying too, like but filtering in just like the impact this movie has had, just like not only just on black people, like but myself personally, I would agree. Like I'd give it a 10. Like. It's not perfect. It's a masterpiece, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's perfect at everything. It's not perfect. It does have, here or there flaw, but this is one of the few movies where, like what Blitz said, after watching it, I literally stared and I was literally just blown away because I could not figure out what was wrong with it. And that's the worst problem. Like, and most times when I see a movie, I can immediately like point at something and be like, I didn't like this, or something about this was wrong or bad. There's nothing in Black Panther where like any pillar of Black Panther that's like lacking or that is just straight up horrific. Everything is either everything is good, great, excellent, magnificent, or a masterpiece in it. Like it's all positive across the board. It's just very, very varied levels of like positivity, and just like the impact I think this film's gonna have. And I agree. It's like the hype for this shit. It's crazy, and some people won't get it, and that's unfortunate. But like everybody should see this movie because I feel like it's a movie that's for everybody. And I said it too. It's this movie is the best way that we describe when Black people say for the culture. This movie basically explains what that means.
Exactly.
And like for now on, like I'm declaring it part of the Black community. Like Wakanda forever now means like for the culture. Like that's the new phrase now. And I'm telling you, the DAP's been replaced now with the whole cross your chest.
Absolutely.
All like this movie.
How many people I saw doing that coming out?
And I said it on my stream, and for me, I'm putting the notion forward. I'm saying this is the for the future generation moving forward. This is the new roots for the Black community when it comes to like Black movies and stuff like that. Like this is that Hallmark movie. Like I'm tired of these slave movies. I'm tired of seeing the civil rights so much. So I love Selma, but like I'm tired of us showing this, like either us being oppressed, us being like in jungle huts and our resources being taken by people like in Blood Diamond and shit, or seeing like human trafficking. I'm tired of that shit. And I'm glad that there's finally there's another example of a movie where it shows that an all Black cast and all an all Black director and executive producer, just Black excellence can be shown in any type of form and prove that it can sell in the box office. And that's what I want to see more. There is no excuse. I don't want to hear no excuse unless you just straight up racist. There's no excuse why anybody should be like, oh, we're not going to fund this this Black oriented movie because it won't sell. Because this is your biggest example. And for me, it's like now, like the sky is the limit. Like the ceiling has been shattered, and now I just cannot wait to see what happens next. Like it's not even just about Black people. Like I'm ready to see. I want to see some Asian numbers. I want to see. Yeah. Right. I want to see. I want to see Latino type hero. I want to see it all. Like I'm ready to see Morales. I'm ready to see him in his own movie. I'm ready to see an actual good Danny Rand, an Asian Danny Rand. So, like, I'm just ready to see it all. Right. Like I want to see all these different cultures.
Yeah, this needs to be the gateway for all that.
This should be the gateway now that everybody's culture can be celebrated. And I know some white people are like, oh, why is this not a white movie with us talking about white people and shit like that?
Man, y'all have got all that stuff.
And the funny part is they fail to understand that they're Irish. There are people that celebrate all these other different types of cultures, and I've seen them. And if I've been able to live 25 years of my life, right, watching all these white movies, and I never complained once. God damn it, you can just sit down and enjoy this and not complain.
Times are changing. It's scary. Wasn't it? How you feel about it, Flock?
Man, y'all covered it, yo. All I can say is my wife and kids went with me, and they were all thoroughly satisfied with it. My kids, I thought they were gonna fall asleep because it was late when we went, and but they didn't. They were up and was attentive to the whole situation. Yo, everybody loved it, man. I thought it. I mean, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. Granted, it wasn't perfect. It was some parts about it I was like, a couple of overacting scenes, of course, but you don't want to nitpick. I mean, it was definitely really good, and it did showcase that everything doesn't have to be, like I said this, but I talked about this before when I was a video y'all gonna see on the GI channel real soon, about how we endured, Iron Man and Batman and Superman and Spider-Man movies and stuff like that. Complaint. And we watched those throughout the years and never complained. Because it was good television. You know what I mean? It was good movies. Like, I mean, it's only so much of that you can see.
Not everything's a liberal agenda.
Yeah, when you watch something that you can kind of resonate with, then of course you're gonna take it more so to heart, and you're gonna feel a different type of way about it because you can relate to it more. So for that reason, and the fact, like what Ito said, like we weren't like slaves, and we weren't shining nobody's shoes and stuff like that. You know what I mean? We were out here in the field, and were the main focal point, and they didn't go at it like it's us against the white people and stuff like that. They just pretty much stayed in their own lane and did what they had to do, to keep they stuff intact. That's what I liked about it, and they didn't need to ride a Captain America or Iron Man coattail.
Not one.
In order, didn't reference it one time. Did not reference it once. In order for that movie to be a success, that's what the main catching point was to me with it. So for that reason alone, I gave it a 9 out of 10. I thought the movie was very good, and the music, was incredible. So kudos to the people who did it. Kudos to the person that did the score of the movie. That's little stuff that I pay attention to because that's always something I always wanted to do was score movies and television. So, that's something, I can definitely appreciate. So that was a definite selling point for me.
Oh, fun fact. The guy who scored Black Panther, he's also the producer for Childish Gambino's latest album. It's the same guy. Yep.
Yeah.
So that explains a little influence. Yeah, he went to Africa and everything. Kendrick.
Real dude, what about you?
Man, Black Panther. This is a movie I've been anticipating since 2014 when they first announced that, man. Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa. I'll give this a 9.5 out of 10. This is a cultural impact. It's the most relevant for my generation nowadays. It's got everything. It's got the messages when Killmonger really said that line at the end, that was the hardest line I've heard in a movie in a very long time. I felt that. It was so powerful. I was like, this is the realest stuff I've heard in a minute. And it's just man, acting was great. The whole cast, representation. This is a predominantly black cast, y'all. We don't really
There's a lot of women.
We get this in Tyler Perry movies and stuff like that, but we get this in a big studio film. Okay, man. Let's see. It was funny. This is gonna be a remembered movie, man. I think honestly, this could be the first superhero movie that could be nominated for an Oscar. It could be. I think it could be.
Oh, if it don't get costume design, no, they straight ass.
I don't think it could be nominated for an Oscar like the film itself, but I think it could be the nomination it could get is Best Supporting Cast. This has the best supporting cast in any movie.
Yeah, it's loaded.
And costume, I could say maybe the score could get nominated as well. There's a lot of things.
Film of the year, probably not, but
no. But it'll get. I have a feeling it'll get a surprise now. Be surprised about a superhero movie getting that people think, oh, what the fuck, a superhero movie?
It could get screenplay too.
Yeah, it could get screenplay.
Hogan got nominated for screenplay.
Yeah,
I got it.
It could get it. It did a lot of things. That's why I think we were always saying it's a film. It's more than just a superhero movie. It is a film that you can analyze, that you can really there's depth to it. There's multiple layers of the depth in this movie.
It's not let's go get the bad guys type shit.
It's not an Avengers. It's not a Thor Ragnarok where you're just running around going, ha ha, funny and jokes. It's a very serious movie, and that's why I loved it. That was my biggest complaint about a lot of Marvel movies. They crack too many jokes a lot of times. It's during serious moments, and it just seems like it's just about comedy and fun, and where's the seriousness of the Marvel universe? And I feel like this is the first Marvel movie where I was it took itself very seriously, and it didn't take it something.
Stop playing with my black ass.
Yeah, you definitely got to put the fight scenes in there too, because I mean, with the women doing the fight scenes, most of the fight scenes, it did not feel forced. I'm not gonna I might get some flack for this, but y'all know I don't give a shit. But I mean, watch those Avengers movies and watch a Black Widow. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Beating up men. It just looks like some wrestling shit where it's they letting them do it. But in that one, when the women beat somebody down, it looked like the women really beat somebody down on that.
There's a quality in here. The men are trying to actually beat them. It's not we're gonna go eat.
They weren't
chicken. Killmonger. That's the thing I hate.
Boxes.
Sometimes in a lot of these strong women, they just make the men try to act oh, you're a woman, I can't hit you, and then she just acts like a bass and beats them. In this movie, they're taken seriously. It's not they don't even have to explain equality in this film. It's just the women and the men are on an exact an even level throughout the film. There is no Black Panther's on the same level as Okoye. They're not just considered oh, she's weaker than him or something like that. They're considered even, and that's the craziest shit about the entire film. It doesn't try to demean men and make them sound weaker than the women, and it doesn't make the women seem like they're just being forced to follow Chadwick wherever they go and do his bidding. They have their own thoughts, their own experiences, their own perspectives, and I feel that's one of the most powerful things of the entire film. Is every character. There's not one unlikable character in the entire film.
Right, and because this movie is so powerful, I would go out on a limb here and say this is the #1 MCU film.
I would say I'd say from like a production standpoint, like
don't be a prisoner of the moment. Just
no. I've thought about it. I thought about that before all this.
I say let's let
Like,
the year finish out.
Let's let
about
we got
Ant-Man
and we got Infinity War. We let the year finish out.
Ooh, that Infinity War gonna be fire.
Yeah, but I see what he's saying. Like, I think from like a production standpoint, this is the best. Like, I think from like all the other Marvel films, I can point at a weak point.
Block going to hell. Block going to hell.
I think
it's one of the best.
At all the
no one is safe.
all the block funny. All the Marvel movies, they have like one like weak point I can point out, and everyone would be like, "Yeah, I can see that." Like this movie does not have that in my mind. Like it does not have a very weak point of its entire film. Like everything was really good across the board. So
yeah.
I think like it's interchangeable for me. Like I still think, I guess top 3, it's still like Winter Soldier, this movie, and I interchange the third one because I don't really have like either Civil War or Spider-Man or
probably Civil War.
Yeah, it's like around there. Those are probably like my top 3. But it's like for me, they're interchangeable. It's not like Civil War is better than Black Panther. It's like
there's no definite answer right now.
Yeah,
there's too much quality.
They're better than each other for different reasons, and they just even each other out. And that's why, they're both just damn good films.
All right, so, what's the name? We about to be sitting here talking in circles all day. So here's my answer. I give the film a 9.5 just because there was a couple.
No one cares. You already reviewed it on your channel.
I didn't give it a score. I didn't give it a score.
You already jumped the gun.
I give it a 9.5 because there's a couple issues I had, but that was me nitpicking. It's one of my favorite Marvel films. I think to summarize what Ethos was trying to say, because he was fucking running his mouth. This film is.
What you talking about? True.
Let me show you how to summarize and still hit home. This film was important because black people are tired of being slaves and this, that, and the Selma stuff, like he was saying.
Yep.
And the world, that's how, those type of films is how the world sees us. I think Black Panther is how black people see ourselves. And that's why the film is important, because we want you to see how we see ourselves.
No, don't say that. That's wrong.
Little do y'all know.
Now they're gonna say we all think we run around in pantsuits.
We were kings and queens long before people knew who we were.
Nigga, I was a king and I am a king. I don't give a fuck.
Still is.
I mean, I do have a narrative.
They only say that shit on the internet. I don't care.
We was kings and shit.
They can't find nothing better.
We see, and before you get finish up, TBH, I want to say this. I seen the little hashtag that the haters out here doing, talking about Wakanda is not real and all this other shit and back to reality shit like that. Y'all need to chill with that, man. Just let us have what we got, bro.
Yeah, like stop thinking like you got beat up in movie theaters by black people when you see them there using old Google images.
It's like the comment.
Black Twitter ain't playing that shit
real quick.
It's like the
and
comment.
Don't review this movie if you're not gonna talk about the cultural impact or the messages, dog, or the social commentary.
Well, I can argue they can't talk about it. That's probably why.
Yeah, hey, that's understandable.
Damn. What's the name? It's like the comment I had on my video, and he was like, "Man, y'all just like it because you're black." I'm like, bro, you're mad that like we're happy.
So
you're mad. Hold on. But they're mad. They're mad when we're always quote unquote mad, and now they're mad when we're happy. Like you just can't win with these people, bro. These goddamn colonizers, bro.
Damn colonizers.
Damn colonizers.
I gotta go.
All right, bet. All right, so Black Panther, 2018, colonizer out of 10. Everybody go see the film.
Damn colonizers.
And everybody have a nice night. This one's been real. I guess next time we'll see you guys as Ant-Man and the Wasp, I guess, probably.
Yeah.
No, Infinity
Which
War
one come out?
Infinity War.
Infinity War comes out before it?
Yeah.
No, it does. It does. I swear to God. Yes, it does.
Yeah, it does.
Infinity War is in May. Ant-Man's in
July or some shit. Yeah.
Oh, weird. Okay. And there's some other superhero movies coming out.
When is Deadpool and that shit come out?
Deadpool's
come out like 2 weeks after Infinity War because they got pushed up.
Oh, we'll be back to review Atlanta.
Oh, true.
You know, we might have to do that. Yeah.
You happy? I got final word, bitch. Let's go.
All right, we are.
All right. We are recording over. Bye.